Minecraft has been taken over by a highly dangerous boss named the Cosmic Fiend. I have 100 days to put a stop to him, or else Minecraft as we know it will change forever. Along the way, I'll have to battle through mythical creatures, explore new structures, and craft powerful armor. Will I be able to survive 100 days in this fantasy realm on hardcore mode, or will the Cosmic Fiend and his minions defeat me? Stay tuned to find out. Starting out on day one, I spawned in with a new compass at the top of my screen, which seemed to track nearby creatures. I also had a bunch of new items in my inventory, which looked to be guidebooks for the different sorcery and monsters in this mod pack. They ranged from being about powerful creatures to rituals, so these would be useful to reference in the future. Alongside the books, I started with a backpack that gave me 4 additional rows of inventory space, which, as you will see, comes very handy in this adventure. After checking out all of my new items, I started getting wood, and the trees around me were rainbow eucalyptus trees, which are a really cool tree type and actually exist in real life. Chopping wood is different in this pack. You kind of just break away at the stump and eventually the whole tree falls down at once. Now, I was on an island, so I checked my map to see if there was any land near me, and nope, I was stranded. I needed to get out of here, so I crafted a boat and started sailing away. I managed to find a desert soon enough, and I began exploring the land.
What is this? Bones. Just bones from an animal. Berry. Hi, it's a pixie. Summer pixie. Hi. I love pixies. What is that? Insane dog. Oh. Oh. Why did I attack this thing? Oh. Oh. I have no food. I have no food.
I barely escaped the dog, and while running away, I saw this huge dragon fossil. Luckily, it was a dead dragon, so it wasn't of risk to me, but it could mean that there were more dragons flying around nearby. I farmed up some wheat to make a couple pieces of bread, and then collected bones from the dragon, which would definitely come in handy later. I encountered a pillager outpost while running, and also these 2 structures, one of which had hay in it, so I hastily collected it and was able to make 6 pieces of bread. That wasn't the only thing in this house though.
What is that? I see like a player. What? Ever Danielson. Hello? Have you seen any food around here? You need food? Hey, hey. Oh, you're still hungry? That's not enough. I need more food. I just gave you all my food, dude. How hungry is this guy? I'm trying to like make friends with him or something. Can I recruit you? Oh, companion added. Wait, it actually worked. Wait, what? What? This dude's like my companion now? Wait, can I like make you follow me? I'll stay here. I'll move around. I'll stay here. I'll move around. Wait, can you follow me or what? Oh my god. No way. I recruited someone. Let's go. Bed. Ooh, I need that. And chest. I'm gonna take all this. I actually need a torch, so I'm taking that because it's been very dark. And books. And so I had a new companion to accompany me on my adventures. The first night approached, so I headed to sleep, and on day 2, I found this house which had iron pickaxes out in front, and I just realized that I hadn't even upgraded my tools to stone yet. I recognized this house as a dwarven tavern, and surely enough, when I went inside, there was a dwarf blacksmith in there. Now, strangely, he was all blacked out, which I don't think is normal, but still, he had trades for Fey ore that get upgraded as you trade more that maybe I could invest in later. I borrowed the gold armor set he had, and then continued on with my ventures. I ran into a gatekeeper who I was familiar with. These guys hold the key to the blue sky's dimensions. A little bit further along, I found this strange structure with a magenta roof. I made my way to the other side, and it had a waystone outside of the entrance, which I marked. And when I went inside, I found the building to be a library. It was filled with bookshelves, which I collected since I would need them for enchanting. And I then ran into a door that read employees only. So obviously I entered, and there was a chest inside that I checked for traps, but it seemed safe, so I looted it and got a scroll of regeneration as well as a buried treasure map. I made my way up some stairs and found an area that read forbidden section, which I of course also entered, and found a chest as well as a hidden little spawner that I broke. Other than that, at the top of the building, I found this floating brazier, which I'm not sure if it's actually supposed to be there, and it ended up being called a magic
magical brazier. I got out of there and then tracked this strange structure on the map, which I headed for, and it turned out to be an orc encampment. I fought the orcs from above because I couldn't really trust my gear to keep me alive, and while I was doing that, Everett, he was just useless. I defeated a decent amount of orcs, and then night hit, so I slept to avoid any other mobs. With the morning of day 3, I was more confident in heading into the encampment.
Woo! Okay, please, Everett, do not die to him. Oh, he's running away from Everett. Everett, you're a boss, buddy. Oh, how much? Ooh. Oh, he ate. Okay, good. He actually eats to get his health back. Here, take some more bread. Good job, Everett. Everett Danielson, my man. Oh, diamond block? Oh, no way. Wait, that's so nice.
There were a couple of chests in here from which I got a golden apple, iron scraps, and a big horn. I don't know what those are for. The next chest gave me some lapis, coal, and another golden apple, which I took happily. I made a diamond axe and pickaxe and then left the camp. Now, at this point, I knew I really needed to find a place to set up my base. My inventory was full, I was low on food, and I wouldn't survive like this much longer. While searching, another howl snuck up on me, but this time I was prepared, and Everett was able to take it out with his crossbow.
Good job, Everett. You beast.
I found another one of these libraries shortly, and I quickly looted it. There wasn't really much in it though, so I got out of there pretty quick. Soon I came upon a desert, and in my experience, I knew deserts were very dangerous and warranted dragons. Still, being badly in need of a home, I wandered into the desert, and my fears about it being dangerous were exactly right.
There's another recruit up ahead here. Oh, is that what this is? This is another recruit spelling? No way. Wait, can I recruit a second person? That would be great. Hi. Oh, jerk. Oh! Oh! I knew going to the desert was a bad idea. I knew it. I called it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh man. Please. Please. I'm in the water. Please. Spare me. Please. Dude. Dude. Okay, I'm digging down. I'm panicking. Okay.
An insane alpha dog had attacked me, and now it was waiting to pounce the second I made it back up to the surface. I carved out a little area for myself and placed a bed so I could sleep in hopes of the alpha dog despawning in the morning. And while sleeping, I had a dream about the sponsor of today's video, Monster Legends. Monster Legends is an awesome free-to-play mobile game that is available on all devices. You can collect over 900 monsters with different elements and rarities and build your own monster empire. You'll need to collect food, gold, and gems so you can tailor your empire and reach new levels. Hatch your new baby monsters, feed them to evolve, level them up, and boost their powers with runes, relics, and talents. Create the best team and challenge your friends or other monster masters in battles where you can conquer trophies, win rewards, and reach the top leagues. Become a member of an alliance, interact with other monster masters, and join exclusive events where you can unlock chests with awesome rewards. One of the unique features in the game is the YouTuber Island, where you can find monsters created in collaboration with some of the biggest YouTubers. Download the game now using my link in the description or the QR code, and you'll get a special free starter pack of 50,000 food, 300,000 gold, 10 gems, and the epic monster Kaori. Thank you again to Monster Legends for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into it. Fortunately, Everett teleported back to me on the next morning, and once I reorganized myself, I headed back for the surface. One of the insane dogs was right above me. It was weaker in the water though, so I was able to defeat it. I'd like to note that for some reason, in this mod pack, your health bar disappears when fighting mobs sometimes, so just know that's not me going into creative mode or anything, that's literally it just being hid from me. Also, the mob was enchanted, which I'd like to note because enchanted mobs have additional health, damage, abilities, and can drop enchanted books, so they are really great to farm, but also tough. The rest of the dogs were feasting on a dragon that they had just hunted down. I figured the wisest thing to do would be to head out and go back to the building I was chased away from initially. I was met with Johan Sigurdsson, who I welcomed into my troop, and also Jerk Engemann, interesting name, who I also recruited. With that, I decided I would set up camp in the house, given that it had a good height advantage and water around it, providing a fairly solid amount of defense. Having my inventory cleared out felt great. I also placed a waystone down so I could teleport home whenever I would encounter any more of these. Additionally, I created a waypoint on my map, and now I would be able to find my house from anywhere, which is really useful because I'm not always the best at remembering coordinates. Also, real quick, I just want to show off my new skin right here, which is a purple wolf.
Check it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, new skin suev in the house. You know what it is?
I remembered that I had skill points as well. Yeah, that's right. You can increase your damage with swords, bows, increase your health, like basically anything. I decided I would upgrade my hearts first because that would give me a big survival increase, and I was able to get 2.5 hearts to start. While I was doing all that, I heard a sound outside and went outside to Johan getting attacked by an insane dog. Luckily, I was able to fend it off and give him some food so he would stay alive. Having these companions ends up being more trouble than help, as you'll see in the future, but we'll get to that later. Having situated myself, I now wanted to go adventuring and mining, so I headed out with my army. But the desert remains a dangerous place for travelers.
Oh, there's a dragon. There's a dragon there. No, no, no. No. Why? Oh, my companions are dying. Guys, come down here if you want. Yep, Ever just died. Guys, come down here, please. All right, well, it looks like everybody's dying today.
Jerk teleported back to me, which was a good sign, and I decided I would just use being underground as a reason to start mining since I needed to mine anyways. I found Fey gems down here, which look like diamonds, but it's used for trading with the dwarves for magic, which I needed to look into some more. I started smelting my ores while mining, and then I got snuck up on.
Whoa. Oh my. What just happened?
Without my extra hearts, I would have been down to half a heart there. I quickly made a shield, a helmet, and some boots as well, which would give a slight boost to my protection. I continued mining deeper underground, and I also continued to upgrade my hearts with experience. I found strange ores while continuing on with mining, including these moon crystals, which can be used to access the new afterlight dimension, which I do later, fiery glass, which can be used to make brighter torches, and silver ore, which can make okay gear. While mining, I started having issues with Johan.
Dude, get unstuck, bro. Dude, my goodness. These guys are hard to manage, and I'm running out of food. Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna have to let them die if they die. I can't deal with that. Yeah, you're gonna die. I'm sorry, buddy. I can't. Yeah, alright. Well, yeah, he's gonna die too. I can't. Guys, I can't babysit you. Okay. So, Jerk just died too.
You know, I am pretty caring about my companions, but I just did not care in this case because babysitting them was not beneficial at all. I found a diamond vein, which I scooped up, and then I ran into an even more expansive cave system in which I focused on getting experience so I could keep upgrading my hearts. I was about to go back up to the surface because I had no food left, but just before I did, I encountered this interesting geode which contained an ore simply named gems that you can make armor with, speed boots, as well as the spawn egg for the cosmic fiend. So this was actually an amazing find. Better yet, I found out that this armor is more powerful than iron. I scooped up a bunch of these gems, but before I could make myself a set of gear with it, I found a mine shaft, which I couldn't help but explore. Now keep in mind, I was at 5 hunger bars, but I knew that there could be some food and relics here. I managed to find diamonds, a chest which gave a piece of bread, and a slime heart relic, which reduces your health regeneration, but in return gives you fall damage immunity. I couldn't put it on because it required a talisman slot that you need a special belt for, which I do get later, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it either way because I didn't really like the health regeneration decrease. I don't know, maybe you guys would get it. I chose not to. I also got these runes that can be used to create relics, and after looting that chest, I finally remembered that I could craft myself a full set of new gem armor. I also crafted a diamond sword, and my gear set was looking pretty good. I went back up towards the surface after that, and it was nighttime, so I quickly slept and made my way up on the next day. But as soon as I came up, I was attacked by an insane dog, which I nervously fought off and was able to defeat. The desert temple I saw from before was still next to me, so I checked it out, and I got some bones, manuscripts, horse armor, diamonds, and an old eye, which is one of the ender eyes needed to head into the end. The best loot though was an enchanted golden apple and a regular golden apple, which I really needed. On the way back home, I mined a bunch of bone blocks, which would let me bone meal a lot of bread, and I then found another one of these companion structures in which lives Torgny Jansen. I didn't have food to recruit him, so I headed outside and bone mealed the wheat seeds that he had, which gave me a total of 51 pieces of bread, so I was easily able to recruit him and give him some extra food. I continued adventuring and found this tower, which had a dragon behind it, so I carefully mined into its side. I was already familiar with these. You see, in my medieval Minecraft 100 days, I almost died to the trap that these have, so this time I was able to mine out the TNT and loot the chest safely, which gave me an Iceborne diamond sword that deals an additional 3.12 cold damage, making it pretty powerful. There was also an enchantment called Worker Exploitation, which gives you double wool from shearing sheep, but also deals damage to them, so that was pretty interesting. And then I got another enchantment called Funneling that puts ores in your backpack as soon as you mine them. I returned home after that, dropped off my loot, which felt great, and I made a diamond chest plate and leggings. I was slowly gearing up. On the next day, I set out in hopes of adventuring and finding a new home, although I didn't exactly end up finding one. I found the sky shard on the floor, and the random explosions I was hearing and seeing sometimes now made more sense because those are what drop these sky shards. These can be used to make a Keeper of the Heaven weapon, Sky Shooter, and the Cosmic Fiend spawn egg. So this was actually really important. I was afraid of dragons going north, so I decided on going more towards the east. I found this huge structure in the distance. When I approached it though, I got attacked by a dragon and had to quickly tunnel down. The good news is that Torgny teleported to me, so he wasn't gonna die. I was pretty annoyed of dragons at this point. I did find a dungeon down here which was filled with zombies, and it actually gave me some decent loot. I mined away from where the dragon was, but as I was doing that, I mined into another dungeon. Everything seemed fairly safe at first until a boss approached.
Okay. That's a boss. That's a boss. That's a boss. Okay. I'm so happy that I was able to get out. Okay. See, this is good. This is a good situation here. This is good.
Me encasing myself saved my life, but it still took a ton of hits to defeat it. Defeating that boss landed me some really sweet rewards, including Protection 4 leggings and a Protection 7 helmet that's indestructible. There were also some chests in the room from which I got a supply camp chest, which is actually something really interesting, as you'll see later. I got a music disc and another golden apple as well, and that was it for this dungeon. Not so bad. I made my way back up to the surface, and honestly, I wasn't too far from where I was in the first place, so it's not a surprise that a dragon attacked me again. I made sure to mine far away this time, and then I got sidetracked while doing that with another boss, which also had an absolute infinite amount of health.
Oh, he's warning me of a creeper? Torgny, you absolute legend. He's warning me that there's a creeper here. Except the only problem is he doesn't actually shoot the creeper. He just says creeper, but still. Amazing job, my man.
What a guy. What a guy. A lot of hits later, I was able to finally take down the boss, and it dropped Protection 5 diamond boots at max durability. Just absolute heaven here. I finally made it up to the surface after all of that, and the dragon wasn't on me. I did see it not far in the distance though, so I made a run for it. I found a desert temple, which I couldn't resist looting, and other than a golden apple, there wasn't really much there. And then a dragon attacked me again. Worse yet, I had commanded Torgny to stay, so he was just kind of stuck there, and I couldn't come up for him unless I wanted to die. So that was goodbye to him. There were more dungeons here, and I just couldn't resist continuing on with mining and looting. I did find a mine shaft soon and found this little jail compartment, which had an incredible relic. Infinity Ham, an infinite food that restores 10 of hunger per use, has 3 charges restoring every 60 seconds. Are you kidding me?
That is the best thing I've gotten in my life.
I wasn't sure of how to use the infinity hem at first. It turns out that it has to replenish itself after you pick it up, which I figure out later. I continued scouting for mineshaft chests in search of any more of these powerful relics. And while doing so, I ran into another boss in full netherite this time, and after a bunch of hits as usual, he dropped these boots, which were pretty crazy. They had feather falling 7 on them, but my current protection 5 boots were still better. Still though, I would find use for these later. I found a leather belt relic, which gives you 3 open extra relic slots for special talisman relics, one of which is the slime heart that I got another one of. I was still wary of using it because of its health regeneration reduction though. Continuing on with searching, I found the jackpot of relics, 3 in 1 chest, another infinity ham, which I happily took, a midnight robe, which gives you plus 15% movement speed in the nighttime and invisibility in areas without light, but I would have to replace my backpack with it, which I didn't really want to do with how much I had been using it. And finally, a magic mirror. This relic is insane, and you will definitely see it come into a lot of use. It lets you teleport back to your respawn point whenever you want from wherever you are. This ends up saving so much time and energy in this video, so it is a big plus that I got it. That was not it though, because I found another one of these prison cells, and in it, I found the Outrunner relic, which accelerates your movement speed by 5% each second you run. This makes you faster than Sonic. You'll see what I mean. I also got a camouflage ring, which makes you invisible when you sneak on grass. I was really happy with my new artifacts. These are so cool. Come on. My respawn point was not set yet, so I couldn't use the magic mirror to get back home, and a dragon did come at me when I came up to the surface, but it couldn't exactly catch me. I slept off the night, and with the start of day 10, well, first of all, look at that infinity ham go to work. I mean, just amazing. Anyways, my chests were packed at this point, so I headed over to some trees to collect some wood. Before I could do anything though, a dragon attacked again. However, I used my camouflage ring, which confused the dragon, and I was able to get away worry-free. I could not wait for the day that I could hunt dragons, and my goal was now to gear up as much as I could. I kind of forgot about the whole getting wood thing for a bit, and I found this desert structure, which I entered, and it had a tomb in the middle of it, which I broke into, and underneath there was a secret staircase going down towards something. I made my way through, and once I reached the bottom, I was met with husks, which I took down, and I ventured further where I took out more husks until I coincidentally ran into another boss room that had spawned within the crypt. Defeating the boss went as usual, and as a reward, I got this projectile protection 7 unbreaking 5 diamond chest plate with 4 additional hearts. I now had more than 2 rows of hearts, and just as I was checking that out, I got attacked by a dragon. I was considering staying and fighting it for a while, but then I just used my magic mirror and got out of there. Now, my set of gear was very solid at this point. All I really needed was a bow to complete my set, not to mention I had a set of protection 4 leggings that were waiting for me to use them. I just needed to repair them. The next morning, I crafted a bedroll, which lets you sleep at night without setting your spawn point, so this would let me use my magic mirror whenever I wanted to just return home. My next mission was to get a powerful bow. Before I got to doing that though, I decided I would use this supply camp chest I had mentioned and gotten earlier, and when I used it, it spawned a layout for a building. I had to fill out an area on which I would spawn the supply camp, so I filled it up. With that done, I placed the mine camp, and it worked. I also found a schematic for another building called the town hall here, as well as the build tool, which can be used to create these buildings. The supply camp was filled with basic loot like coal, tools, meat, and just a bunch of pretty useful things. This is all a part of the Mine Colonies mod, and as you build more things, you can actually start to grow a civilization, which is really cool and maybe something that I could do later in the 100 days. Anyways, right now my goal was to create a very powerful bow, and for that my plan was to head down and mine to get enough experience for a level 30 enchant. Mining is pretty dangerous in this pack though. Right away I found a cave spider spawner that I took down, and
Under these spawners, there are actually pretty good chests. This one gave me a Depth Strider 5 book, a mythic chest plate, as well as a rare bow. Now, the chest plate had an increase in enchantability by 28, and it was unbreakable. An increase in enchantability basically means you can enchant something higher than for 30 levels, which gives you more enchantments. I still wasn't sure if I wanted to use this one though, because mine seemed to be better, so for now I just kept it in my inventory. I ventured deeper into the cave looking for the ore I needed, and I encountered another boss who dropped indestructible protection 4 leggings with a 1.25 armor increase, so these were better than any leggings I had. In a dungeon, I found a power 11 book, which I couldn't have even dreamed of getting, but I did, so my bow was already looking to be crazy strong. I returned home using my very handy magic mirror, slept the night off, crafted some arrows, a bow, which I always forget how to do, and after smelting a bunch of iron, I crafted an anvil so that I could put power 11 on my bow. Now, I didn't have infinity yet, which would let me use the bow with only having one arrow instead of having to continuously craft them, but I still wanted to start using the bow now. My objective was to hunt down dragons, and it was not too long before I found my first target. The dragon was hurling huge fireballs at me, which was damaging me and digging me underground, which was really throwing me off. It was also really difficult to shoot at it while I was on fire, so I was struggling to get in the water and aim as well. I continued taking shots, however, and I was able to prevail. I wanted to get some dragon blood, which is an important resource we'll talk about a bit later, so I got some sand and started smelting it into glass. While I was waiting for that to create some bottles, another dragon attacked me. Before I engaged in combat, I increased my bow skill, and it now did 49% more damage. I started bowing the dragon down, and it got in close range, which made it really easy to hit. While firing at it though, I ran out of arrows, which made me panic a bit, but I was able to use my sword and take it down. I got fire dragon blood and flesh from the dragons, and I was really happy with how far I had come. Now, if I wanted to get the best armor in the game, dragon steel, I would have to collect a lot of dragon scales. And I set out to do just that, but I didn't know at the time that you need to get about 360 dragon scales to do so, and each dragon drops between 0 to 35, and it's really up and down. That comboed with the fact that dragons are not in very close proximity to one another made it a pretty difficult objective. I needed more arrows before I hunted any more dragons, so I collected some flint and made all the arrows I could. The only problem is I was running very low on feathers, so restocking on arrows again would be a problem. I needed infinities soon. I continued my adventures and found a couple of desert temples from which I got a golden apple, enchanted golden apple, and found an interesting enchantment called the Boon of the Earth, which gives you a chance to get random ores from mining stone. In the nighttime, I found a pyramid structure which gave me the achievement Traps and Curses, which is not something you want to see. As I made my way through the entrance of this place, it led me to a maze. At first, it seemed pretty harmless and not full of traps, but when I got further in, I started encountering enchanted husks. Taking a couple down was no problem, but soon they started flooding through. Within the pyramid, I found a desert temple kind of treasure room, and I found a scarab talisman in it, which gives you 15% bonus movement speed in the desert, increases your block breaking speed, gives you immunity to suffocation, and the ability to burrow yourself underground. Pretty good stuff. This goes into the special talisman slot relic, so my belt was coming in good use. When I came back up, I encountered a legendary husk, which is very dangerous. I had to slowly take it out while getting attacked by other husks. Upon its death, it also left me a nice surprise of silverfish, and I can't say I wasn't freaking out a bit. I found another treasure room which just had a golden apple in it, and I then found this double chest which I did not trust, and for good reason, because it was trapped. And worse yet, the chest contained 2 skeletons. Unbelievable. And when I was checking out the trap further, something damaged me at literally 8 hearts a hit. Ow. 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 What is that? Something just damaged me like crazy.
I don't know what that was, but I got out of the pyramid. When I was finally outside, I tested my scarab amulet, which worked like a charm. It dug me underground, and it was kind of freaky even. I found a village in the distance, and this village had a kind of abandoned house in it, so I scouted all around its interior and then entered the inside, not sure of what to expect. Right away, I was met with a skeleton and cobwebs, meaning there probably hadn't been any sign of life here for a while. I made my way up some stairs and found this interesting statue, which I couldn't get for myself, and then found a hidden urn which had bone meal in it, probably remnants of someone who lived here before. I found another urn as well that had a really interesting design, and I was able to take it for myself. I soon came up to a bed with an armor stand next to it, and maybe the person that lived here was a guard. I don't know who else sleeps with a set of armor with them. Finally, I made my way up to the attic, and it was no less creepy, but it did have loot. In fact, it had 3 golden apples, which is a nice find. Other than that, there wasn't really anything else in here other than disintegrating skeletons, so I headed out. I soon found this tower, which intrigued me. It had a medieval theme to it. The bottom of the inside had a chest with simple loot, and when I made my way up to the next floor, it had a spawner as well as a chest with some raw fish. The mobs seemed to get stronger and the loot better as I made my way up, and when I made it to the top, I was met with this simple pole, but hiding under it ended up being a diamond block, which I scooped up happily, even though honestly at this point I didn't even need diamonds anymore. I found another orc encampment, which I was now easily able to take care of, and on the next day I actually found an icy spikes biome within which I found this huge dark tower. These are called mausoleums, and entering it apparently requires a key, so I was not able to get in. I do end up getting in later though, and for a very important reason, which I'll tell you about in the future. I continued traveling through the desert, and look how fast I went because of my runner boots and the scarab amulet. It is crazy. Anyways, I found another dragon, and taking it out was no problem. My power 11 bow made things very easy for me. I had a whole lot more of this to do though, and to be honest, the dragon hunting doesn't end up going exactly to plan towards the end of the video. I checked out the dragon's nest, and it had a lot of chests in it, but nothing of use. What I was finding useful though were these mage-looking towers that I was fairly often running into. The chest at the top of this one gave me mythic leggings, which were really close in strength to my protection 4 leggings, but I figured that they were a bit better because of their additional armor and heart increase. Throughout this time, I also continued increasing my skill points, getting to 87% increased bow damage. Not long after, I found another dragon, which I managed to take out even quicker than the one before. I defeated another one, but ran out of arrows, then another one with just my sword. A lot of dragons. I found a cemetery out in the open, which had this strange ectoplasm in it, and it spawned a ghost that tried to haunt me, but I got it. Now at this point, I needed to find arrows or an infinity book because my ammunition situation for my bow was just bad. While searching, I found moo blooms, which I mean, just look at these guys. Hi guys. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I ran into this interesting biome as well, which I mined the floor of, and it dropped ash powder, which could be used to make ashy bricks. Interesting stuff. My hunt for dragons continued, and I'm not even gonna show all of my dragon kills at this point, but when I tried to go to sleep, something strange happened. Oh, can't sleep while it looking at you? What is that? This thing is not good. Night Watcher. Yeah, okay. Okay, what is that? What is that? Okay, wow. I finally went to sleep without something looking at me, and on day 19, I found another mage tower and got a tome of scrapping from here, which lets you take off enchantments from items and then put them on something else. This is really useful because I wanted to make a full set of dragon steel gear, and I also wanted to keep the enchantments on my current gear, or be able to transfer them over rather, since they were really powerful. I mean, I had protection 7 and stuff. I continued searching and then got distracted by a building in the distance and almost died by falling straight into a ravine. But a random block on the side saved me. I don't know who placed that there, but thank the Minecraft gods. Another mage tower gave me a sword that makes mobs explode into a loot pile when you defeat them, and feather falling 8. I kept on getting tomes of scrapping from these towers as well. I ended up finding another companion guy, but I really did not want to recruit another one of these guys. But you know what happened? I accidentally gave this guy my infinity meat.
Yeah, the worst thing that could have happened. I just meant to right-click him and I accidentally fed him, so you can say goodbye to that. Yeah, he was gonna die. It was just a matter of when. I then found this temple, and I knew that in here lives Medusa. Before I could do anything, though, I got seduced by some sirens. Not mermaids, sirens, okay? These things are evil. But I was not overcome by them or their beauty, and I was able to take them out. They did give me some shiny scales, which are a nice item and can be used to make some pretty strong things, so that was a plus. In the night, I got ambushed by an orc tribe, which I just ran away from. On the next day, I wanted to make a blindfold so I wouldn't get turned to stone when I would approach Medusa. I needed the leather, and I found out that I could make some with kangaroo leather, so I unfortunately had to hunt these guys down and make myself some leather. To be fair, though, they are some aggressive animals, okay? They are not that friendly when you are on their territory. I made a blindfold, and with that, I headed into the building and flicked a secret lever that I found, and then headed into Medusa's secret lair. I made sure to put my blindfold on and slowly walked in. One look for Medusa and I was dead, just like that. I was blind and I got attacked by some revenants at first, and then Medusa approached. A few hits later, and I defeated her. Yeah, I guess when you have a blindfold on the fight, it becomes much easier, given that her only strength is that she can turn you into stone by looking at you, so yeah, that worked out pretty well, I'd say. I collected her head as my reward and headed out. At the end of the day, something interesting happened. I was fighting orcs when I accidentally hit an elephant, and that's a big mistake. You see, elephants hold grudges for their entire lives, and then their children hold grudges for their entire lives. This was not good. These elephants were literally stronger than anything else I had fought, and I was afraid that now they would be all hostile towards me, which they were in this area, so I wanted to defeat all of them so that the word didn't spread that I was mean to elephants. I was trying to eat a golden apple, and look at this. Look at this. These guys are beasts. They were getting me dangerously low, but being in the water gave me the idea of using it to my advantage, which worked really well, and I was able to take them down more manageably. I hope that now every elephant I saw wouldn't be angry at me because they wouldn't know. And guess what? It worked. They weren't angry with me. That is until I tried to free an elephant from a tree by breaking it, and then I hit the elephant instead. Yeah, very smart. I took shelter in a mage tower and got an axe that pierces armor, as well as a bow with 150% increased draw speed. And something that I haven't mentioned is that you can actually take these perks from these strong items and put them on the gear of your choosing by using affix tomes. So keeping all of these special items is a good thing. Upon coming outside, I found another dragon just chilling in the air. The bad news is that it was stuck up there and I had no way to shoot at it since I was out of arrows. But then an incredible thing happened. I found infinity in a mage tower. My problems with arrows were over, so I marked a waystone and used it to get home. I put infinity on my bow, and now my bow was powerful, but it would break after even a bit of use. I couldn't put mending on it, but I could use a totem of scrapping on these indestructible leggings, and then put indestructible on my bow. I needed experience if I wanted to do this, so I headed down to mine ores. While down here, I killed a zombie who dropped this golden ancient sword, which is an uncraftable item, so I thought it was pretty cool. I also found this ore while mining, which is called an expetrified orb, and at the time, I didn't really think much of it, but as you'll find out later, this is the key to getting a crazy amount of experience. I ended up running into this necromancer orc while down here, and he started blinding me and withering, and the orc with the shield that was with him was literally just unkillable. For some reason, I started freaking out, so with my magic mirror, I got out of there. Once I was home, I had the idea to go to the nether to mine quartz, which would be faster experience gain, so I built a nether portal, but when I tried to light it up, it didn't work. Yeah, apparently I had to craft an entirely different lighter to access the nether in this pack. In order to get the materials needed to make a netherite lighter, I needed to find a ruined portal because they spawn with netherrack and other things I needed. I defeated another dragon, and on the next day, mainly just tried to figure out my storage situation before heading out. I had a lot of these items with special perks, and the mythic ones especially had really powerful perks on them, so I wanted to be
be able to transfer those onto my gear. What I found out though was that in order to do so, I would need to sacrifice a mythic item in a soulfire campfire to get a mythic shard, and then using that I could carry over the perks. But that seemed like a lot of work and a lot of experience used. While I was home organizing everything, I also wanted to start making Dragon Forge bricks, which would be used to make the dragon steel armor. It's kind of like a very, very, very advanced furnace. I had to grab some cobblestone, then smelt it for stone bricks, and I was only able to make 4 Dragon Forge bricks for the time being. I would need about 10 times that many. I continued searching for a ruined portal on the next day and ran into a Cyclops who can literally eat you and one-shot you. So I kept my distance and was able to bow him down. I defeated another dragon and Cyclops who dropped an Eye of Cyclops, which is a mythic item that weakens all nearby enemies when you hold it in your offhand. I found this crazy mythic axe, which had an increased enchantability of 12, executes enemies once they're below 7.16% health, pierces armor, and has a 100% critical hit chance. On top of all that, it was unbreakable. There was also this horrifying shield in the chest, which weakens enemies when you block them. It would be really nice to get all these perks on my gear, but I didn't have time for that right now. By day 27, I still wasn't having much luck with finding the portal. I did find this beautiful mountain range though. Look at this, it's just amazing. I also found this huge structure, which turned out to be an end castle. This place is massive and has a lot going for it. I mean, maybe I should have moved here. I found a pillager in the area though, and a chest which had some basic farmer loot. There was also a village area here with what looked to be shops and houses, and it's possible that villagers lived here and then the pillagers pillaged and took over, which is kind of sad. I found some additional loot in the blacksmith area, mainly just a bunch of charcoal. There was also this very interesting area that had a bunch of benches and what looked to be a preaching area. This could be a church or some cult that the pillagers led. I dug down to see if there was a stronghold under the end city, but there wasn't, so I guess the end in the name of the city didn't have much correlation, at least from what I saw. On the next day, I found this strange building which had pigs and hay in the front, and when I went inside and made my way up, I encountered a witch. I felt kind of bad for taking her out because I invaded her home, but still, she attacked first, okay? There wasn't much at the top other than some minimal loot in a chest, a level 30 enchanting table, and a cat. I found these Tasmanian devils, which I decided to feed, and I thought I had tamed one, but I think it just appreciated the food. And then while I continued my search, look at this. Look at what happened. It just took my meat. Hey! Don't you dare take my meat. I already had one companion steal my meat. I'm not letting that happen again. Please tell me I can get that back. Yes. You thought. I can't believe it. They tried to steal my stuff, man. One word. Victory. I then ran into a tree that was set on fire and was about to start a forest fire, so I used water on the lava and broke all the trees. I found another dungeon while in this forest, yet still no ruined portal, and I headed in. Upon entering, I had a few different directions to go into, and upon taking one of the paths, I was introduced to this big room with spawners. I took out the mobs in the area and the spawners themselves and found a chest with half decent loot. I made my way through the rest of the dungeon and then ran into this little parkour bit, which you already know I absolutely crushed. Anyways, I got out of there and slept, and then look what I found on the next day. Look at that, amazing. I also encountered a sea serpent, which are actually really dangerous creatures, but my bow just melted it down. In the same direction of the Leviathan, there was an ocean village of some kind, so I made my way over, and this place was really cool. The first building I ran into was a farmer building with a lot of honey in it and iron ore, and then I approached this building, which was much larger. It didn't have anything on the bottom layer. The middle floor was fairly empty as well, but when I went to the top, there were 3 dragon heads there. I couldn't believe it at first, but they were real, and in this pack, there are actually a few different things you can do with them, so maybe they would come in handy. I went into the biggest building in the town, which was pretty empty on the inside. The design was still nice though, but at the top of it, there was an attic that was so dark that it basically turned into a mob farm, which was hilarious because there were so many mobs flooding out from here
and they kind of got me low. I found another hut that had a stack of ores in it, and yeah, that seemed to be mostly it for this place. So I grabbed my magic mirror and headed home. I defeated another dragon on the next day, and I found this cool purple forest biome, which was covered in bamboo and purple trees. I also realized that I was at level 30 at this point, so I could do some enchanting. I got the indestructible enchantment off my old pants, and the original plan was to put this on my bow, but I had a lot of things to enchant. I also took protection 5 off my diamond boots so that I could put it on these netherite boots that have feather falling 7. Also, my outrunner boots that give you crazy speed ran out of durability, as well as a lot of my other relics. I did find out that I could actually repair them by using a runic anvil and hammer, which requires a blaze rod to be made. So now I had another reason to get into the nether. On the next day, I found these Myrmic soldiers, which are only aggressive if you get too close to them, and they were building a nest of theirs, so I left them to it. Other than that, I was still having no luck with finding a ruined portal. So I added the structures compass mod into the game, and this basically lets you track down any structure of your choosing, which I really needed right now because I did not want to spend the rest of my life searching for a ruined portal. To make it, you need mossy stone and dead coral, so I first went underground in search of some mossy stone, and I was actually able to find it pretty fast within some stone pillars. With that collected, I still needed to get dead coral, and for that, I would need a Silk Touch pickaxe. Unfortunately, I didn't have Silk Touch out of any of the enchanted books I had collected. At first, I thought the best way to get levels would be to look for mage towers and other structures and try to find enchanted books there. Along the way, I defeated a lightning dragon, and I found out later that you can't mix scales of lightning dragons with fire dragon scales, so this was not useful to my cause. With the levels I gained, I finally enchanted my bow with indestructible and my new boots with protection 7. I was getting stacked. I figured that I would actually try mining for levels and doing a level 30 enchantment instead. Just upon me making my way into a cave, I mined another expetrified orb, which seemed like nothing, but then I checked its uses, and it said that it can be used to make the Eternal Stella item, which reads that it has 3 uses. So I thought maybe these orbs have uses as well, and they did. It gave me 6 levels of experience, just like that, 1 orb. I then used another one that gave me 4 more levels of experience, and these things were really good. It seemed I could get a level 30 enchantment in no time. I encountered an elite skeleton, which was a bit frightening. It had fire arrows, and it was not taking much damage from my power 11 bow, which was not a great sign. I used some of the experience that I got on skill points for speed, but this is actually only speed when crouching. I don't know why I did this. I need to focus on my goals more. Anyways, I went around collecting these expetrified orbs until I had a solid number, and then I just needed to set up a level 30 enchanting table. So I crafted some bookshelves, mined up some obsidian, and crafted an enchanting table. Then all I had to do was place everything down on my top floor, and I was ready to enchant. I had to enchant books a couple of times to reset the enchantments available, but pretty quickly I got Silk Touch as an option and enchanted the pickaxe. Now I just needed to get the dead coral. Funny enough though, as I was looking for that, I found a ruined portal. After all that effort into collecting the materials needed for the compass, I found a portal on accident. The chest had a ghost skin talisman, which makes projectiles fly right through you, but you lose 50% attack speed, which I wasn't sure if I wanted to do. Now, for some reason, I completely blanked out for a while and thought that I needed a netherite scrap item rather than the netherrack to make it. So I literally left the portal without getting what I need. I know, really dumb, but don't worry, at least I figured this out fairly soon. At this point, I still thought I needed the item directly and that I needed the compass to find more portals. So I searched for coral and was able to find a bunch at the end of the day. I placed it on the ground to let it dry up and collected it. With that, I was able to make the structure's compass, and I sneaked right-clicked to access the directory. I then typed up a ruined portal, and boom, it started tracking the nearest portal to me. I followed it to its marked coordinates and was confused at first because I saw nothing, but then I realized that the portal was underground. Sure enough, I mined straight into it, and it just gave me a bastion ring, which makes piglins neutral towards you and makes them point to bastions. I hunted down 4 more
portals, but thankfully after that I realized that I was supposed to craft this item. I collected up the netherrack I needed as well as the magma blocks, and all that was left was the lava. I combined everything to make molten alloy, smelted up netherrack for nether bricks, and finally crafted the netherite scrap piece, which I combined with netherrack to create a netherite lighter.
Wow. That was way more challenging than I thought. I did not think getting into the nether would take so long. Hello, nether. Right away, lava just fallen. Unbelievable.
Now that I was in the nether, I needed to find another fortress and get a blaze rod to make a runic hammer and repair my speed boots. I found this little mob called a Bakugan, which was just demonic, and then I ran into something even more demonic, literally a demon. I defeated another demon and he dropped a heart of flames, and this thing smelts 500 items. It's insane. These demons were all over the place, and even this happened.
Oh my god.
I escaped through the nether portal, and there were 3 demons just waiting for me. I used being home as an opportunity to clear my inventory, restock my food, and when I looked at what Bakugans drop, which is a Bakugan charge, I saw that you can combine it with a prismatic diamond to create a true Bakugan's charge. Turns out it can be used to create a true dirt Excalibur as well, which is a weapon that apparently uses dirt to attack. Pretty interesting. I headed back for the nether on the next day, and I set my structures compass to look for another fortress. The compass led me through many strange biomes, including this one that had an interesting ember gel block type in it. This biome was in general beautiful and completely took on the opposite of the usual red netherrack. I soon found another fortress in this kind of dead green fire biome, branched on over, and found a blaze spawner in no time with an interesting blue blaze spawning. In fact, it dropped a blue blaze rod that could be used to make multiple items, one of them being the Soul Conqueror, a bow that seemed fairly powerful. I was able to get a blaze rod right after that, and with that, my nether fortress mission was complete. I set a waystone and headed home to finally make a runic anvil and hammer. First though, I needed some iron to create an anvil, so I headed down to the mines. I took the chance to get more of the XP orbs as well. Unfortunately, my Fortune 5 pickaxe didn't work on those, but it did work on diamonds, and from 7 diamond ore I got 31 diamonds, which isn't even the highest you can get. Once I got all of the iron I needed, I headed back home and set everything to smelt. While waiting for that to finish, I crafted an eternal stella using all of the ore that I'd gathered, and after doing some research, I found out that it can either be used to make armor completely unbreakable or can be used 3 times to repair all of the gear in your inventory. Both options were great, but I preferred to make a piece of gear unbreakable, so I decided to use it on my pickaxe, which I would need more levels to complete. In search of those, I once again headed for the mines, and while down here, a camouflaged creeper almost ended my career.
Oh my god! That was a creeper. These creepers, man, they're skinned. I saw the health bar of something. I didn't know it was a creeper, and I didn't know it was, I thought it was glitched or something because I didn't see anything in front of me.
I found this dungeon while down here, and it had a spawner and then a zombie brute caged up in the corner. There was also a crucible here, which I took, and this could be used to perform some kinds of rituals, which I wasn't ready for. I went back up and found a fully durable anvil in a chest. With that, I headed home and first of all enchanted my pickaxe with indestructible, then crafted the runic anvil and runic hammer and tested it out on a relic. Sure enough, it worked, and I was able to fix everything I had so I could get back to speedrunning and camouflaging. I also put protection 5 on my leggings, so now all of my armor was crazy strong, and I was able to resume my search for dragons. While traveling the seas though, things got a bit dangerous.
Ow. Oh boy. It's a sea serpent. Actually, this is not too good. To tell you the truth, this is not that good.
I then got a message that said ocean depths are shining with strange blue ore, and I started taking damage from something. I couldn't tell what it was. While in the middle of all this, I got seduced by some more sirens and I had to fend them off. After that, another sea serpent came at me and I once again boated down. I finally made it to the surface by the next day, but then a huge sea serpent attacked me, and this guy was actually dangerous. Good thing that I was not in the water when this happened, because I could have ended up taking too much damage and died. I continued dragon hunting when I found this.
Is that a mushroom island? Is that what I'm seeing with my eyes right now? No way. I think I see a mushroom village. How rare is this? You guys got quite the base going on here. Rarest structure in the game? Given that this is a mushroom island, there seem to be a lot of mushrooms, but more specifically, a lot of new types of mushrooms. I got a big mushroom, which is a part of the Mushroom Quest mod, and when I searched it up, my goodness, there was a whole selection of mushrooms. The village itself was pretty typical, but still cool because of the mushroom theme. I was interested in the different mushroom types, so I crafted a mycopedia, and it had an extensive guide on these mushrooms. I mean, their locations, uses, everything. That was cool and all, but on the next day, I noticed something. Okay. I just checked back the footage and the seagull stole my ham again. I will not allow this. I will not allow it. Where I'm gonna find that seagull and absolutely kill it. Which one of you stole? That one stole my bread. That one stole my bread. Where is my meat? If you steal things, you're gonna die. One of you has to confess. Yeah, my infinity meat was gone. We can say goodbye to that. I swam to another part of the Mushroom Island, and here I found an interesting being. You look mystical, man. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this absolute legend. Whoa. Dude. Oh. This guy's sneezing. This guy's just walking around sneezing. Hi. Oh my god. Wait, can I wave? Oh. Wave. All right, man. Hi. Hi, dude. I said goodbye to my new friend for now, and this magical Feywild stuff got me thinking about things I could do in the mod. After some research, I found out that pixies can be befriended with cake and then give you potion effects like speed, strength, and other things that would help me hunt down dragons faster. I had to find the materials to find a cake, but before that, I ran into this beautiful sky village. I collected up a bunch of blocks and then made my way up to the top. I explored around and there were actually villagers here too. The civilization seemed to be fully functioning, which I wonder what it would actually be like if there was a sky village in real life. I also saw another house in the sky in the distance, which I wanted to check out. And with the village explored, I jumped down into a pond. Down there, I saw a terror bringer, which is a really dangerous animal, so I took it down with a shot right away. And in the night, I found this blood-seeking vampiric netherite sword in a mage tower, which has a 60% increase in critical hit damage, and better yet, life stealing. I returned for home with this new amazing sword and defeated an insane dog along the way, from which I got this void key that apparently lets you activate a dungeon with different difficulties. This would be an interesting challenge to take on later. In preparation of that and the Cosmic Fiend, I figured I needed to make upgrades to my sword because it was essentially just a regular netherite sword at this point. So I did the usual, mining for these XP orbs, and mining continued into the next day. I then started working on getting good enchantments on the sword. Also in this pack, enchanting has 3 elements that I didn't talk about yet. It has Arcana, which controls how rare your enchants are, Quanta, which essentially messes with the enchanting table and makes the enchants you get completely random throughout the 3 different levels you can choose, and then Eterna, which controls the level of enchants you do, and you can even go up to level 80 enchantments in this pack, which give you very powerful enchantments. This was all quite confusing to me, I must say, and there are basically different bookshelves that you can make to add in different elements to the enchanting table. They looked really difficult to make though, so I didn't really mess around with this much. I was at least able to get sharpness 3, which wasn't that great, but it would do for now. I finally started looking for milk and eggs to make the cake for the pixies and defeated another dragon while doing so. After a while of looking, I was able to find some cows, which I milked up, and while I was looking for eggs, guess who showed up? An insane alpha dog, which I easily got my revenge on. It felt good. Instead of finding chickens, I found emus who also drop eggs, and I was able to collect enough of them to make a good batch of cakes. But when I tried to befriend a Feywild pixie with the cake, it didn't work. I made this cake for you. You have to take it. Pixie, come down here, please. Wrong pixie. Apparently, it's the pixies from the Ice and Fire mod that can get befriended by a cake and can buff you. I did not do my Googling accurately. I now had a second idea, which was to tame a hippogriff and be able to fly around while searching for dragons. But for that, you need a handful of rabbit's feet, and
I did not know how hard they are to get. I started looking for rabbits in snow biomes because I heard that's where they spawn the most, but the one I was at didn't seem to have any. I even used my structures compass to find another snow biome, and on the way there I saw another one of these floating houses that I'd seen earlier. I made my way up to it, and everything here seemed pretty ordinary looking, as if it was just another house on the ground. The loot on the inside though was much better. There was an ender pearl, enchanted book, this heavenly cup, which was quite interesting and could be used to make heavenly tea or tea with cookies, even better. There were also some very strong tools, especially considering that there was no danger here really, other than having to go through the trouble of blocking yourself up. And the shovel that I got from here was actually a pretty good upgrade. I went up the tower and there was another chest that had heavenly petals and heavenly cookies, which I took instantly. I combined all three to enjoy some heavenly tea with cookies, and it gave me instant health, speed 2, and regeneration 3. Actually really good buffs. With the speed buff, I made it for the water down below, and I then resumed my search for rabbit feet on the ground. Eventually, I located a snowy tundra biome, and I did find rabbits. The only thing is, the rabbits didn't drop any of their feet, so this was gonna take a while. I continued hunting rabbits, but with no luck really. While out in the snowy tundra, I ran into my first ice dragon as well. These guys have a great look to them, but just like with the others, I was now able to take them down quite manageably. I found an ice temple, and it had this weird trap contraption at the bottom, which I mined out, and I looted a coal die from a chest, which you need to get into the end. Now, my luck with finding rabbits wasn't too hot in the snowy biome, so I figured I would try and hunt for them in the desert. I also had the scarab talisman, which made me go insanely fast in deserts, so I thought that it would be a good idea. However, I still wasn't finding rabbits. I was at least still finding dragons during this time. So I was on track for my goal. It's just it would be really nice to speed things up a bit. Hey, at least I was able to find this little guy. Frog. Haha. Oh, you are a good guy. I found this witch hut in a swampy biome, and there wasn't much here, just a witch chilling. Also, while continuing my search, I fell straight into this ravine and barely took any fall damage because of my feather falling 7 boots. I'm pretty sure I was almost immune to fall damage at this point. I tested this further even though I was quite scared, and yeah, I barely take any fall damage. I then found this dirt hut, and on the surface level, it seems completely normal, but I broke the carpet, and there was a secret trap door to a ladder that seemed to lead to a hidden cellar. I went down, and there were imprisoned villagers down here, one of them a zombie. It seemed like they were kidnapped and were experiments of some kind. There was a chest here that had a golden apple and some other scrappy loot, but after that I got out of there. On day 59, I defeated some ice dragons, thinking that they would contribute to my goal of the Dragon Forge, but to be fair, I did get another fire dragon down as well. I found some rabbits on day 60, still no rabbit feet, but I was trying. I also found another snow temple, and this one had a holy locket relic in it, which makes you deal additional damage to the undead, as well as having a chance to set them on fire, bonus health regeneration, and invulnerability for 0.5 seconds every time you take damage. This was a really nice relic, so I put it on. I found an ice temple after that, which I checked out, and the loot seemed pretty basic other than this enchantment called Hell Fusion that makes you deal extra magic damage in the nether. I left from there and then ran into some prisoners that I wanted to help. Free yourselves. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. You're free, you're free, you're free, go, go. I'm not sure if those guys will get away, but you know what? I tried. While running out in the night, I ran into an iceologer who is also enchanted. Look at him, dropping icicles on me, hurling fireballs. I was able to take him out though, and he dropped a wand of freezing. Look at this thing. I also encountered this mutant skeleton who literally has aimbot. Like, that's crazy, but I still took him out. On the next day, I found this massive tower. I walked through the entrance, and it seemed fairly safe at first. There was a jailed off chest, which I thought might be trapped, but it was actually just locked. So I skipped trying to loot it for now and grabbed this emerald block that was at the back of the room. I then walked around and found these levers, which I flicked, and they opened the iron door next to the chest, but not the chest itself. I figured I would head to the next floor, and this one had a spawner, which I took out
out, and there was another one hiding in a corner, which I also removed. The chest on this floor was open, and that's because you need to break 2 spawners on each floor for the chest to open. It's not exactly clear when you first enter. There was also this bunk area, and I tried breaking the chest here, by the way, but it just didn't let me. Things were mostly the same for each layer, but at the top, there was this strange cube. I found out that you need to collect 3 keys to summon a boss. I was able to get 2 keys from different chests, but unfortunately could not find a third. So I left for now, and maybe I would find another one of these towers later on so I could complete the boss fight. As I continued on, I ran into a rainbow air balloon, which I checked out, but it didn't have anything on the inside. I also spotted another sky tower, which I figured I would build up to, but the first time I tried, I didn't bring enough blocks, so I got stuck midway. I then tried to ender pearl up, but it didn't reach, so I had to mine up blocks and then make my way up again. When I made it up to the surface of the island, it looked very similar to the one I'd run into earlier. The bottom of the tower was like a library, and the next floor actually had a lot of mob spawns that I had to take out. The chest on this floor had some fairly decent items like ender pearls. And other than the chest, there really wasn't much here, so I headed home, and it was on this day that I found out you can't mix different dragon scale types together. So all of the ice and lightning dragon scales I got while hunting were completely useless. Yeah, I was about to give up on this whole dragon steel gear mission, but don't worry, not all hope is lost. In the night, I found this monster fight going on. This is entertaining. I want to watch who wins. Dang. This is intense. Oh, the dragon wins. I then saw another one of those large towers I saw earlier, and I got the 3rd key I needed from here. So that meant I would be able to fight the boss. I went to the top and began the fight. And let's go. All right, land golem. Okay, he took a half heart off, you know? Or actually, wait, no, I just don't even have that half heart, actually. Yeah, my gear was pretty powerful at this point, and I was able to take down the land golem without any trouble. He dropped 5 diamonds and this land guardian eye, which I don't think has a use, but it was a fun little fight. After taking on the land guardian boss, I felt pretty confident in trying to defeat the dungeon key I had gotten earlier. Now, apparently this dungeon gives you coins, which you can then use to buy items like diamonds, ender pearls, and other things. I set the dungeon to its highest difficulty, started it, and it teleported me to this room. The counter started saying 0 out of 125, and soon pillagers started spawning. An evoker spawned, which was perfect because he dropped a totem of undying, and another ender eye needed to access the end of this pack. I wasn't really taking any damage from the mobs here. I even upgraded my sword and bow skills to max, so I was dealing 100% more damage with them. Soon enough though, a message appeared saying a horde approaches, where mobs spawn twice as fast and are enchanted with some type of ultimate magic. And you know what? Things started getting a bit scary. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, it's getting a bit crazy. I was getting more totems of undying, which is really good actually. I also started picking up void coins, which are the main reward of these dungeons. And a message then appeared saying the mobs were wearing iron, and I couldn't see the iron on them, but they were definitely getting harder to kill. I was eventually able to finish clearing up the room and got a message saying that I cleared the dungeon with 1 star. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but I feel like I did pretty well. I got a chest that had a bunch of random food in it, and then a self-destruction timer started going off and a villager appeared who was selling items for void coins. There wasn't anything I really wanted to buy from him, but I did get 7 totems of undying from this, so I was not complaining. The building eventually self-destructed, and I had my magic mirror in case of anything, but I did end up falling and having slow fall, so I safely made my way down. And guess who came with me? The villager who didn't have the trade anymore, and instead he barged into my house and made himself feel at home. Oh, he's just using my house. Yeah, man, no problem. Just sleep in my bed. Oh, okay. Well, he just became a tool. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, man, make yourself at home, dude. Make yourself at home, really. Have a great time. Please. I enchanted my gear up some more, and honestly, at this point, I wanted to take a break from the overworld adventuring and wanted to see what I could find in the Nether and the new dimensions in this pack. Honestly, though, I wasn't really able to find much in the Nether other than a Nether fortress and the new biomes, which were still really cool. So I returned home and began working on creating a portal to the Afterlight dimension. The guidebook was actually really helpful, and it explained the first thing I needed to do was to get 21 moon crystals and 10 void rocks. I already had the moon crystals, but I
had no void rocks, so I headed down underground where the void rocks are supposed to spawn. While looking for them though, I did this.
Oh, that was a bad idea. I just trapped myself under lava.
I don't know what I was thinking, but fortunately I got out of there. My gear was really strong at this point. I mined down further and found this block called Darkstone, which actually looks really similar to void rocks. After a bit more mining, I was able to find what I needed. Now that I had these base materials, I was able to craft a ritual altar. In order to create the portal, I would need to perform rituals to get some specific items first. First, I had to create a hammer and crush up some moon crystals. Then I placed void rock and moon dust into the altar and created strange obsidian. I got 12 pieces of it, which is what I would need to create a portal, and then performed another ritual to create a staff of moonlight. Using the strange obsidian, I started building the portal, but I wanted to make it a perfect shape, so I made 2 more pieces of the strange obsidian and finished it off. I then activated it with a staff of moonlight, and with that, I headed into the afterlight.
Okay, delving into the dark. Oh boy, look at this place. Wow. Look at these crystals. Radiant shards. Radiant crystal block, golden shards of radiance. Whoa.
The afterlight has a very empty feeling to it. I collected the nearby crystals and continued on to find a moon spawn. It dropped a living essence that could then be used to craft an Eye of Ender. It's also an ingredient that can be used for rituals in this mod. I then found a teal looking version of the crystals I had seen earlier, and this is used as a light source, so it's like glowstone in this dimension. I defeated another moon spawn, which dropped a crystallium ingot, which is an ore you can mine and can use to make a new gear type equivalent to iron. While walking around here, it felt like there was almost a ceiling rather than sky above me because of how dark everything was, and I did not like it. The trees here, on the other hand, were very bright. After some more walking around, I encountered these ruins with a skeleton lying on the floor, and there was this vase that I broke and got more living essence. I broke the skeleton's body, but nothing happened. I thought that some type of voodoo ritual would have occurred, but no. I found another ruin nearby, and the vases in this one dropped moonberries and soul prisms, which could be used to make soul torches that looked pretty cool, but they were dim, so I didn't like using them. While exploring this vast space of nothingness, I soon ran into a very strong mob.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, dude. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's not taking damage. Is this like a player trolling me or what? He's invincible. Dude!
I eventually defeated it by shooting at it and hitting it from up above. It dropped 3 enchanted books, which weren't the best enchants, but still, that just shows you how many enchanted books these enchanted mobs can drop. At this point, I had explored a good amount of the surface level of the dimension, so I wanted to see what's underneath. It was a lot different than regular caves. There was a mix of red and blue blocks, and soon enough, I found pearl shards ore that can be used to make Eyes of Ender. I also found this redstone looking stuff, which is called bloodstone shards, and this is a material needed to create the respawn catalyst that can set your spawn point in any dimension. When I came up to the surface, I saw this sunrise or sunset that made the dimension look a whole lot more interesting, and I enjoyed the view. I felt like I had explored everything here, and I decided I would return home. But then I found out about this elemental amulet item that you can craft in the afterlight dimension, which gives you permanent haste, speed, and lifesteal, so I wanted to get one for myself. I ended up looking for the materials needed to craft this thing all the way into day 73 and still wasn't able to find them. Here's the issue. I went through looting different types of buildings and got tons of different items. I also mined anything I saw. By day 70, I had every item needed to make it other than one, an aqua crystal. I tried everything I could to find this thing, mining, looting, searching underwater, but I was finding everything other than this aqua crystal. Anyways, let's just forget this search ever happened because it was a big waste of time and I was pretty upset about it. I figured the best way to move on was to move on to a new dimension. My pick was the Adam dimension, which takes place in ancient Egypt. So I filled up a 5x5 portal frame out of sandstone blocks with water, crafted a scarab, and threw it in.
Oh! Let's go. It worked. Okay, do I want to go in? Wait, I needed food. Okay, that's fine. I'm in. Oh yeah, what's up? Oh, nice. I already have people shooting at me. Nice. Hey, back off, chumps. Nomads. Luckily, they are not too strong. Iron scimitar. Whoa, cool. Oh, more? Back off. Lawbringer. That's right.
I was now in ancient Egypt. It was a beautiful sight, really. And I saw a village in the distance that I approached, but as I did, I was ambushed by an assassin that poisoned me. After that, though, I ran into some more friendly creatures.
What are you? Oh, it's a baby camel. Wait, okay, guys, seriously? That's such a cute baby camel. Oh, we got the other camels here.
Those camels were so cute. The structures in the village were really, really cool. The blue with the sandy white made for a great combo. I also ran into a human female hunter here that provided trades for golden coins and wanderer leggings. I looted a crate here and it had a dirty coin in it that I apparently had to wash off. There were more villagers that I ran into and they had a bunch of new item trades, all with the same currency of golden coins. So that was kind of their emeralds in this dimension. I accidentally ended up falling into a water puddle and took the chance to wash off the dirty coin I got, which actually worked. I then saw pyramids on my map, so I wanted to head towards them, and while doing so, I ran into these colorful butterflies. I don't know if they were actually from the Atom mod, but I like them a lot. Butterflies are one of my favorite things in existence for sure. I found a pyramid soon enough, and I tried to find an entrance in, but was pretty confused because there didn't seem to be anywhere that I could enter through, and I couldn't break into it. While I was trying to figure this out, a bunch of mobs spawned in the nighttime that I had to fight off, and then I figured I would leave the pyramid and find a different one with an entrance I could spot. I managed to find another one pretty soon. I was able to find the lock to the entrance, but I didn't know how to activate it yet. I ended up finding out really soon. In the meantime, I found this spawner out in the open with some crates, and I actually got iron camel armor from here. I also looted a dirty necklace, and I thought that this could give me some type of artifact. There were more of these ruins type structures around that I checked out and looted for any new items I found. I made my way back to a puddle with them and cleaned off some coins as well as some jewelry, which I thought would have some perks to them, but apparently they were just cosmetic, at least from the ones that I got. Hey, on the bright side, I was looking good with my new gold and silver. I made use of the coins that I had and bought some emmer bread from a female hunter, which would let me stay in the Atom for longer. It only replenished 2 hunger, but it was better than nothing. I continued traversing the desert in hopes of finding answers and got attacked by some desert wolves along the way, which I unfortunately had to take out. I love wolves, so it was a bit of a heartbreak, but it had to happen. I ended up finding a Pyramid Explorer map in one of these ruins, and I followed it all the way to the X. I instantly saw another one of these puzzle entrances and a quail. Yeah, cool animal. I like quails. Now, I again spent time trying to find a space to get in because I didn't know that what I found was the entrance, but luckily, I soon did some research and found out you need to make these Nebu torches and place them on the marked blocks with that entrance. So I started digging down in search of this Nebu ore, which from what I read is pretty rare. To my surprise, I ended up finding a mine shaft, which is perfect because that would increase my chances of finding this Nebu ore. Instead of cave spiders, these tarantulas spawn here, which give you weakness rather than poison, and I very much preferred this. I searched around for a while and ran into this stone guard guy who was he was a cool guy. In fact, I ran into a few more that I took out. Eventually, I thankfully found Nebu ore, smelted it up, made Nebu torches, and did the final honors.
Okay, let's try this. Boom. Nice. Let's go. Okay. Oh, what is this?
Right away, I was faced with monsters, including these bone storms, which are like blazes, but they shoot bones instead. I cleared the room, and the chest here gave me an iron cupish, a weapon I've never heard of before. Quite interesting. I found a ladder going down, which I took, and I was met with what looked like a trapped maze. Worse yet, I couldn't really avoid the traps here, so I kind of just had to deal with them. I started speeding through this place and placing torches to mark the spots I went to. I was stuck here suffering for quite a while before I finally found a hidden ladder leading me down to the next level. This floor looked like it was a maze too, but the first room I entered held a sarcophagus for the pharaoh.
Pharaoh turns over in their sarcophagus. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I need to place one of these on each one of those. Oh, okay. Look at this guy. He's sick.
The Pharaoh continued hurling blasts at me and summoning zombies, but using my armor and lifesteal, I was able to take him down. He dropped this sword named Nephthys' Banishing, which deals double damage to undead monsters, and look at this thing. It looks incredible. I liked it so much that I just wanted to continue collecting all of the ancient items in this dimension. I looted the sarcophagus as well, and it had a bunch of dirty jewelry as well as a golden date, which is kind of like a golden apple. It gives you good effects when you eat it. The rest of the rooms on this floor were just filled with monsters and basic loot. What's interesting though is that this new sword was one-shotting undead because of its double damage, and it wasn't enchanted at all. That gave me the idea to put smite on it, and I had a Smite 11 book from defeating enchanted mobs, so this sword is an undead slayer. I found a pyramid shortly and unlocked it in the same way. This time I made it faster to the bottom layer, so I was making improvements. I started another Pharaoh fight and put my new sword to the test. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. I killed this guy in like 5 hits. This Pharaoh dropped Isis's Duality, which fires double arrows, and this was a great upgrade from my normal bow, which is exactly what I needed. I took off power 11 from my normal bow and put it on this new dual shot bow, and I tested it out after that and got a collateral kill, which was awesome. In fact, I got multiple at a new pyramid. Look at this. One of the chests in this pyramid actually had an ancient item called Anput's Grounding, which was another bow, and this one slows enemies on hits. I took another fight with the Pharaoh, and after melting him down, he dropped a weapon called Nuit's Ire, which can apply Wither to enemies on hit or block. This is a new weapon that I haven't seen before and definitely has a smooth look to it, so I was happy to add it to my collection. On day 78, I did something very important. I tamed a camel. I put a saddle and iron camel on it and decided its name would be Jeffrey. He wasn't too fast, but you can actually equip these guys with 2 chests, which kind of justifies that. I wanted to bring Jeffrey home, but when I went through the portal, he didn't come with me. He was stuck in the atom.
No. Well, Jeffrey, you can be my guardian because there's no way I'm traveling on you, buddy. I'm not gonna lie, you are very slow.
Even though Jeffrey wasn't fast, at least I had made a new friend, and I was happy with just that. I started finding a lot of rabbits here, which made me think maybe I could still get enough rabbit feet to tame a hippogriff. I hunted into the night and into the next day and got up to 2 rabbit's feet. I also spawned in another Pharaoh who actually spawned in as a legendary enchanted mob. I forgot to switch to my smite sword at first, and I was literally doing no damage to him. Luckily, I had my smite sword on me, and when I switched, it made a huge difference. Look, this is my normal sword, and then this is the double damage smite sword. Using the OP sword, I was able to take him out, and he dropped the same weapon that I'd gotten before. I also defeated another Pharaoh who dropped Ta's Decadence, which is a pickaxe that can turn iron into gold, which I thought is a really interesting perk. I really like these ancient items, so I searched them up, and there ended up being a lot more than I thought. I would have liked to collect all of them, but that was a pretty huge commitment. Still though, I defeated another Pharaoh and got this item called Geb's Undoing, which deals extra damage to stone mobs. I don't know how many stone mobs there are in Minecraft, but still, it was an interesting weapon type. At this point, I was satisfied with everything I had done in the Atom dimension, and now I wanted to get back to my goal of getting full dragon steel armor. On this day, I did more studying and found out that you can actually find pieces of an ice dragon forge at mausoleums, which is the big dark structure we saw earlier. That would cut down the dragon hunting I needed to do entirely, so entering and looting those was my next mission. Thing is, to enter them, you usually need a key. Instead of that, the first thing I wanted to try was to make a dragon bone pickaxe and see if I could break through using that. I needed wither bones, so I hunted for those and then crafted the pickaxe. Luckily, I had saved a waypoint back to the mausoleum that I'd found earlier, so I got there quick, but when I tried to break in, it didn't work. So the dragon bone pickaxe strategy was a no-go. I hunted mobs spawning around the structure, hoping they would drop a key, but I had no such luck. I looked into it some more, and it turned out that dreadliches have a chance to drop the key needed, and they can be most commonly found in snowy tundras. And so I headed out for a search using my trusty compass. I I ran into an ice dragon along the way, and I actually did need to find these because I needed ice dragon blood for the forge. Now, these dread mobs are supposed to spawn in the night pretty commonly, however, I was finding none whatsoever. I tracked down another mausoleum thinking that it might be different or have an opening to it, but I had no such luck. I ran around looking for any sign of existence of these dread mobs. Instead, though, I ended up running into Frostmaw. Frostmaw? What is that? There's like a boss bar here. Aha! Frostmaw. Oh, he's waking up already. Oh, he's enchanted? Are you kidding me? Oh, let's go. He's enchanted, man. Oh, wait, that's not good for me. That's not good for me at all. Okay. Okay, please die. Thank you. He dropped an ice crystal that would let me freeze enemies. I continued looking for dreadliches so that I could get the key to the mausoleum, but this tedious search continued on. On day 83, while waiting for the night for mobs to spawn, I found a dragon underground on my tracker, and these are the dragons that can drop dragon eggs. So this was exactly what I needed to find for the other mission I had in mind. I soon mined into the dragon's cave, and there it was, sleeping. This dragon was sleeping right above a pool of lava though, which was a huge issue. This meant its item drops could get burned, or I could just get shot into lava myself. I had to make my way down slowly and plan this out, but that's not what happened. That's what I did, and that's what I did by accident. Okay, okie dokie. Dragon, I need you not to fall into lava, please. Dude, no, this is the worst case scenario, dude. Dude, what's happening? I'm gonna lose all the loot. Oh my God, no. This is terrible. Worst case scenario possible. All of my gear is breaking. Okay, I just have to kill it. I'll find a different dragon. My gear is actually breaking. It was almost impossible for me to make it out of the lava. The dragon kept pushing me back in. I located the nearest piece of land and started swimming towards it, but swimming in lava is really, really slow and my gear was at risk, so I even had to take my boots off. I barely made my way to the island in a panic and got in the water. From there, I continued firing at the dragon, which is huge, by the way. Just look at this thing. And it continued to put up a fight. After more continued shots, I was able to take this thing down. Right away, I made sure that everything below it was covered with water and blocks so that none of the loot would burn. But then I made a huge mistake. You see, when looting the dragon, I decided to loot it for its blood, thinking that I could still get its egg. Instead of that, I didn't get an egg at all, and defeating this dragon turned out to be pretty much useless. I guess I had more ice dragon blood, but I much would have preferred the egg. That was unfortunate. I got out of the cave, and I hope to find another dragon underground sometime soon. While searching for the key I needed, I ran into this. It was actually very difficult to aim with this bow because its trajectory was just strange. I wanted to get a different one. Anyways, the mutant started spawning mini creepers and then jumping in the sky, and I was getting barraged. It then regenerated all of its health and got me stuck in a crater, which was actually really, really dangerous given it can kill me in one hit with an explosion. My bow was barely dealing damage to it for some reason, and then at the worst moment, I got stuck in ice spikes that an ice dragon had created before. The mutant creeper was jumping around like crazy, but when it finally stood, I was able to land the final blow on it. What I didn't know is that it self-implodes on death and pulls in everything around it. Fortunately, though, I stayed far enough and alive. Day 84, I still had no luck with the key. I got attacked by these creatures though, which I've never seen before, some crazy enchanted wood things. Day 85, I literally tried glitching into the structure because I was sick of trying to find dreadliches, but it didn't work. After looking into this some more, apparently the spawns for the dreadlich mob in my world were just messed up because they are supposed to spawn in the nighttime in a snowy tundra, but they were not at all. In fact, none of the dread mobs were spawning other than the ones outside of the mausoleum because of its spawners. So I decided that I would spawn them in because no matter how much I would look, I would not be able to find these guys, and I wanted to progress. I'm gonna pull a Forge Labs on all of you and say you should comment, Suev, I totally support your decision on day 86. You are an inspiration, and what you did is the right thing to do. Anyways, I hunted all of the dreadliches down and none of them dropped any keys, so more just sporadically spawned, and I finally got a key from this. Before I could use it though, I ran into this creature. What is this called? Thunder Screamer. I need to fight it.
Okay. Okay, it's a bit stronger than I thought. Okay, it's a little bit stronger than I thought. It's not dead yet. Okay, it's dead. It's dead. Unfortunately, it didn't drop anything, but now it was time to head inside the mausoleum. Right away, I found a troll tusk in a chest, which can make a forest troll leather helmet that reduced projectile damage by 10%. I got attacked by a dread ghoul and then ran into a spawner, which I didn't want to break yet because I wanted to potentially use this place as an XP farm later. But as you'll see, this was a mistake. As I continued forward, the number of mobs only amplified, and I was attacked by a large variety of monsters, critters, and undead mobs. Apparently, torches and light doesn't affect the spawners, so the mobs just continued pouring through. I also got this effect of blindness and bad luck, which made it really difficult to navigate through this place. This blind wandering continued on for a while until I finally found it, but just as I did, I accidentally used my magic mirror and teleported back home. Now, I used this as a chance to take off the blindness I had for 83 minutes, but it didn't work. Luckily, that was just a glitch, so when I refreshed, everything was all good. I made my way back inside the structure and got back to the Dragon Forge room. I made sure to clear out all of the spawners around here this time and then mined up all of the pieces of the Dragon Forge. On the way out, I grabbed this dragon bone flute used to control your dragons and then got out of there. I had collected a good amount of Dragon Forge pieces, but I would still need to get about more than twice that. So I got to searching for another Grave Master's key, which after a few Dreadlich kills, I got. I may or may not have accidentally dropped my chest plate after that, which I had to look for and luckily found. I once again headed into a mausoleum and headed straight for the Dragon Forge room. I locked myself in, broke all of the spawners, cleared out all of the mobs so that I could collect the Dragon Forge pieces that I badly needed with only a handful of days remaining before I would fail my mission. I went back home and tested what I had to see if I had enough Dragon Forge parts, and it turned out that I needed just 4 more Dragon Forge bricks. All that was needed to craft those is a few dragon scale blocks, and to my great benefit, I already had them. Unfortunately though, it turned out that I still needed to make a Dragon Forge core, which is not at all inexpensive. It requires 8 Dragon Forge bricks, so I needed to find another mausoleum. While doing so, I got attacked by an ice dragon, but I decided I wouldn't kill it because I actually needed an ice dragon to fuel the ice dragon forge by breathing on it. To set that up, I would need to trap the dragon and then put the forge next to it. So I made a dragon bone wall, which is resistant to dragon breath, and a chain line that I used by placing down the dragon bone wall, attaching the chain line to the dragon, and then linking it to the wall, trapping the dragon entirely. I once again hunted dreadliches in the night and got a key shortly after and headed into the 3rd mausoleum. I did the usual mob clearing and then got myself the final pieces I needed for the Dragon Forge. Now I could make the Dragon Forge ice core. With that, I headed toward the trap dragon and started a raid in the process, which I thought about actually doing, but I couldn't find the raiders and I didn't have time, so I continued on to the dragon. I was now ready to build the ice dragon forge and finally make dragon steel armor. Now all I had to do is trick the dragon into blowing into the forge, which essentially fuels it, and bam, the forge was finally created and working. After all this time, I thought it would be impossible. Oh, no way. Woo! Let's go. Now that that was running, I just needed a few more bottles of ice dragon blood so I can make a full set of gear out of dragon steel. It didn't take me too long to track down a couple of dragons and get their blood, and after that I ran into what seemed to be another end city. Weirdly enough, I ended up accidentally mining into this room that had some kind of redstone contraption in it. Upon looking into it further, this was some kind of a secret door that gave access to a chest. The room itself ended up being some kind of a torture room. There was a dispenser that could shoot out arrows and a skeleton skull. This place was creepy. I got out of there. On the next day, I returned to the Dragon Forge with all of the ice dragon blood and iron needed and sat there as the forge did its work. By the end of the day, all of the dragon steel had been created and I crafted every single piece of dragon steel gear. To finish things off, I crafted a dragon bone bow, and with that, my full set of dragon steel was complete. Now I needed to enchant it though. Luckily, I could carry over enchantments from previous gear, which would make things easier, but I still had a lot of work cut out for me and not a lot of time left. I went around my chests looking for books of scrapping so that I could carry over my enchantments and was able to gather a total of 7 books. With that, I started taking enchantments off my old gear, and only after I scrapped a few pieces did I realize
that I didn't have the levels to put the enchantments on my new gear now. So I was stuck with unenchanted gear. I headed down to the only place where I knew how to get experience fast, the mines. I accidentally fell into a ravine while down here, and I felt the damage of fall damage for the first time in a while. It felt bad not to have feather falling. I ended up falling right next to a boss room, which I should have ran away from given my lack of enchantments, but I stayed, and this was a big mistake. Not only did I get trapped, but the mobs around me were doing a lot of damage, and I would have been dead if not for my extra hearts. I soon started finding the expetrified orbs I needed, and also while mining, I found this chest that had a blood-seeking, culling netherite axe of latent magic. But what was unexpected was how effective this energetic crossbow would be. It had this movement speed perk, which I'd never tried out before. I tried it in my offhand and it didn't work, but when I used it in my main hand, it increased my speed like crazy, and this isn't even considering the crazy speed boost from my boots. I mined some more and then returned home to continue enchanting, and this process basically continued without much variation through to day 93. Along the way, I made a sharpness 11 sweeping edge 8 dragon steel sword along with a bunch of other really strong items. All of my gear pieces had indestructible or mending on them too, so I had no worries about them ever breaking. The final item I needed to enchant was my bow. With limited time to hatch a baby dragon though, I decided to start looking for a dragon cave again. I found a boss while out, and just for comparison, I was now able to 3-hit it, a boss that once took me like 40 hits to defeat. I also found this interesting dungeon that I decided to jump into, and it seemed to have a typical spawner maze design, so after checking it out for a bit, I left. My search continued on until the night of day 94 when I finally found an underground dragon. I mined my way down and mined straight into it because I was really confident with my new gear, but there were two problems. I didn't have lifesteal on my sword anymore, and my bow wasn't enchanted, plus I didn't have any arrows. The combination of that and the dragon shooting ice spikes at me and digging me down made it really difficult to attack the dragon and to heal at all. I was able to get back up, got a few hits in, and because of how powerful this new sword is, I slayed the dragon quickly. I blocked up a bit of the bottom to make it so that the dragon's items wouldn't fall down, and collected my spoils of war, from which I got a white dragon egg. I returned home and placed the dragon egg down with water on top of it, given that it's an ice dragon, so that it would start growing. I figured I would kill some time while waiting for it to hatch, so I adventured for a bit and found this abandoned house, which I walked into, and it literally was just an abandoned house. I made it up to the attic, and with that, headed out. I returned home after getting attacked by a fire dragon because I literally couldn't shoot at it, but when I returned, my dragon egg was missing. I was really confused. I walked around to see if the dragon was walking around somewhere or something, but that wasn't the case. I don't understand, man. What happened? Did it die? There's no way that happened. It was my newborn dragon and it just disappeared. I was saddened because not only was I now a bad dragon owner, but I also did not have much time to try to get another dragon pet. I got more levels and finally enchanted my new bow, which I couldn't transfer the power 11 to, but honestly, it was still better than the other bow because I would actually be able to aim with it. I started once again searching for a dragon underground, along the way finding this strange undead stable with a skeleton horse as well as 2 zombie ones. I also ran into a hippogriff and tried taming it with a rabbit's foot. Unfortunately, I didn't have my other ones at the time, and this ungrateful animal started attacking me. So I absolutely left it. I couldn't believe it. I ended up taking the movement speed perk off of the crossbow and trying to put it on my sword, which didn't work, so my second option was to put it on my bow. And now I could not only hold a powerful bow, but also an item that gives me speed all the time. Further in the night, I ran into a cyclops, which I got way too close to, and it actually almost killed me because cyclopses can one-shot you when they eat you. But luckily, I dodged that bullet and was able to take it out. On day 97, I found this. Oh, what is going on here? Mungus? This is like little Among Us guys? What the heck? Dude, these guys look sus, bro. Oh, I just got darkened. I should not have killed. I'm sorry, dude. Oh my goodness. That's not good. Are there cows around? Cows? Yeah, that was an interesting encounter. The blindness soon ran out, and I ran into a mushroom temple. I mean, look at this thing. What an absolute beauty. Going down, I was very careful because these temples often have new types of traps, but The bottom was strangely covered in water, and when I searched all around to see if there was any redstone, there seemed to be absolutely nothing. So I looted the chests and got out of there. In the nighttime, I found this strange shrine kind of area with a chest with a lava bucket inside and these statues. I couldn't find anything more to this, but this was interesting. On day 98, I finally found a dragon underground. Now, this hadn't been the best goal to focus on because I only had a few more days to summon and defeat the Cosmic Fiend. This ended up being a fire dragon, which I was able to take out surprisingly fast. Better yet, looting this dragon gave me not one but 2 dragon eggs, green and gray. I quickly went home and set these fellas down to start hatching. While waiting for them to grow, I grabbed my builder's wand and town hall I'd gotten from the mine camp encampment earlier, and while I was trying to figure that out, my dragons grew. I named the green dragon Matu and the black dragon Gemin. I used my dragon command staff to make them stay. I didn't want to take them inside of my house in fear of them growing and then suffocating. Leaving them outside made me worry for their safety too, but I figured they would act as any other pet and not get attacked when they're on stay. But I was wrong about that. I made some dragon meal using the little meat and bones I had to accelerate the growth process of these guys. After that, I finished placing the town hall, which just showed up as this block at first, but shortly after, an imaginary railing formed around it and villagers showed up. I was checking out the skills and abilities of these guys, and then this happened. So I went around lighting the area up, hoping that this wouldn't happen again. Now, I really wanted to build the first part of the village for these guys and keep them safe, but I just didn't know exactly how. And that would take time to figure out, which I didn't really have. So I needed to decide between defeating the Cosmic Fiend or building and protecting a civilization. I chose defeating the Cosmic Fiend. Now, it's at this point that I realized I had made a huge error in my thinking. I had collected all of the ingredients needed for the Cosmic Fiend spawn egg other than an egg itself. The simplest of ingredients, but now, if I didn't get one in the next 2 days, I would completely fail my challenge that these 100 days were the purpose of. And so I searched and searched into the night. I found a village and looted the chest thinking that they might have some eggs in them, but they didn't. I even ran into sheep and cows, but still no signs of chickens. That is until I ran into this forest.
I see a chicken. Chicken! Please lay some eggs. No, do not kill my chicken. That is the worst thing that can possibly happen. Chicken, I just need you to lay 1 egg.
And so I waited into the next day, and I now had 1 day left. I started looking for more chickens as well while I waited for the other one to drop something, but I didn't find anything. I thought that was it. All of these 100 days wasted because I didn't plan carefully enough. But you know what? I turned my hitboxes on, returned to the chicken, and sure enough, it dropped an egg.
Let's go! You legendary chicken. You absolute legend. Good job. Okay, let's go.
I had to get going. I was on the final day, and I needed to summon and defeat the Cosmic Fiend. I crafted its spawn egg and got ready, but while heading out, something horrible happened.
What's happening? Are my dragons dying? Oh, no! No! No. I'm gonna have cleave. No! Dude! I didn't think that random things would attack them. Dude! No!
I was upset. I don't know how I could have saved the dragon because I couldn't really hit the wolf without hitting it. And it was a devastating loss. I was disappointed in myself. At least 1 dragon stayed alive, which is great that happened, and I wouldn't be making that mistake again. I made a little shrine for Gemin and hoped that she'd rest in peace. It seemed that now everything was going wrong, because the next thing I knew, I got a message pop up saying that Briella from my colony died to a mob. Honestly, I kind of knew that was gonna happen because she kept walking around with no protection for no reason. I finally figured out that I needed to drop off resources to be able to build structures with the builder's wand, but I didn't have time. Hopefully my protection would be enough for these civilians, but that was not guaranteed. I positioned myself far from my house to summon the Cosmic Fiend, and it was time for the final battle.
Okay, let's go. Oh boy. Okay, it's attacking other mobs. Wait, this is actually working.
The Cosmic Fiend was attacking other mobs. It's an uncontrollable creature, and I was taking full advantage of this by bowing at it from a range. Soon enough, though, the Fiend did start coming at me and digging me down. It also started shooting red fireballs at me, which I wasn't able to dodge, but my armor was keeping my health secure. Once I got it further down in health, it started coming straight at me, digging me further and further down. It can mine through bedrock, so I had to be extremely careful not to lose my focus. Soon, I was able to get into a good position and barrage it with shots, and with just a couple of shots left, I took down the Cosmic Fiend. It dropped the Destroyer of Moons, which is a pickaxe, and Space Devastation, which is a sword. Check these things out. Space Devastation gave me the ability to dash and to shoot fire at enemies. I thought the Space Destroyer would let me mine chunks of blocks, but it seemed to be fairly normal. I defeated a mutant skeleton with my new sword, and with that, I had completed everything I wanted to in these 100 days. Thank you to Sharkie for making this mod pack and letting me use it. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Once again, thank you to Monster Legends for sponsoring the video. Make sure you download the game now and claim your free starter pack, which will give you a head start and speed up your leveling process.